Welcome to our first podcast. My name is Adriana.
My name is Harry, and our special guest is...
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm sorry you have to hear my voice again.
No, thank you so much for taking the time to being with us. Today, we have a very interesting topic to speak about, and that is mistakes of first years.
First mistake.
First mistake, that is true.
So what do you first thing that comes to mind when you say first year mistakes?
First year mistake. I think obviously first year is fun, and first year is with all sort of different opportunity. You know, you can meet a lot of people through partying. You're moving somewhere new, and then you got hit with all the assignments and so on. So I think the first mistake I would probably say time management or how do I pronounce that word?
Procrastination.
Thank you very much. If you're in my class, then you know sometimes I can't really speak English properly unless I have proper coffee, which is not today. But I'm sorry about this. But yes, time management is so important because most of us, one day, day two, day three just go by. So now we have induction 20 of September, and now it's already week 7 and week 8, and
yeah,
I know time flies. Right, yes, and that goes for everyone. For me, it's exactly the same. And this is not just a problem for first year. For your staff, for year 2, year 3, everyone have this problem, time management. So,
do you find yourself procrastinating?
Oh, always, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. That's why we need deadline, isn't it?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so here just deadline is important, and what I normally do is I have my little diary and I set every deadline earlier than its formal deadline. So it kind of helped me to plan things, and then even I have 2 days, 3 days left, I already finished my assignment, so I can go through it again. Or sometimes what you can do is probably finish most of your work maybe 3 or 4 days before the deadline and do something else and then come back to it again. But definitely managing deadline is important. And guys, this year the deadline is 11 p.m. Don't get mistaken, because last year it was 3 p.m. So now we even try to help students to have longer deadline.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Definitely using that.
I'm going to write that down.
Yes. Okay, wow. So our second question would be, what are your thoughts about establishing connections with faculty, professors? What advice would you give first years on how they can connect and how they can have a good relationship?
Yes, we are important. Staffs is important. Why? Because we can help you all the way. So I know, again, year 1, you are busy trying to remember everybody's faces, and then you meet new people and so on. But because you're so busy, some of the students forgot that you need to meet your tutor as well, especially personal tutor. Me, myself, I'm a personal tutor and I have 30 students. So of course, I will send out email to all of them, come to meet me. But if you don't, I can't really trust you on that. But meeting personal tutor is so important because every time before the deadline, we start, as staff, we started to have, hundreds of email in 2 hours, and then all asking the same question or similar question. How do I submit my assignment? Where can I get my cover sheet? How to print this? Do I need to print this? Do I have to use a PDF or something? And all of this, you can ask all these questions without any stress if you meet your personal tutor now instead of near the deadline, because near the deadline is also near Christmas, near holiday, near marking time, so everybody is busy. So also you can help us by spreading out the time and meet us now, and we can have a relaxed chat and hopefully answer all of your questions. So I think personal tutor is definitely important. And of course, I'm important as well as your program leader.
What would you say is the percentage of students that actually come to their personal tutor in the first year?
That's a very interesting question, and the answer can be a bit embarrassing. Actually, for myself, my first personal tutor meetings went quite well because it's a group meeting. I think more than half, maybe 70, 80 students showed up. But for me, this is quite a special time, because this time I have a lot of year one master students, and they tend to be international students, never been here before. So obviously they have more questions about how to live in the UK and so on. Otherwise, I know from my colleague that at least half of the students still not engaging with a personal tutor, and this is really worrying. So I would say more than half. That's the answer, which we shouldn't be, because personal tutor is there for helping you, and it's almost like a facility for you to use, so you should take the benefit of that.
Definitely. I'll be doing that as well.
How do you think we can try and encourage them more? Because of course telling them in the lecture every time, talk to a personal tutor if you have problems, email them, but it's not working. What do you think you could do differently, apart from obviously telling the podcast?
I don't know. I think if students have better idea to help me encourage student or motivate student to go, then I'll be very happy to. At the moment, obviously, what we do is try to communicate student and take the lead. So we will send email, send messages, say now it's a time for you to come. But I also think there are so many tangible benefits meeting or knowing your tutor. So your tutor is supposed to be the one who gives you reference if you need any part-time job, give you reference or your first point of contact with the university, actually. So you can think it as a personal university Google system, search engine. So if today you want to apply an EC, you don't know how to do, then find your personal tutor. If today you want to have a student finance letter, you don't know what to do, talk to personal tutor. So this is a very, very useful thing, and I'm sure in your 3 years of university lives, and some people it's 4 years, you will definitely engage or need a moment that you need your personal tutor, and it will be quite rare when your personal tutor don't know who you are and don't know how to help you more efficiently. So yeah, I guess that is the main motivation. But yes, if you have any idea, please let me know.
Yes, we will let you know. Our third question that we want to talk about is we're growing up, or we're in a scenario right now where technology is so immense, it's so big, everyone's using it, social media, emails, through the phones. So how do you see students being distracted on their phones while you're teaching?
This is so funny question, because just last week when I was teaching year 2 student, eventually in the lecture I have to say stop and looking at me. And I'm trying.
Important.
I know.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here talking about something important because I'm talking about assessment. So I start, try to shout. I maybe sometimes I should just start singing in front of my lecture so everybody, be more entertaining. Yes, but no, obviously now we shouldn't have to. But yes, I think this is almost like a common trend. But I also have some students say to me, I use my mobile phone as my first digital device. So I take notes with my mobile phone. I take picture of the slides, something. If they say something like that, then of course you use it as you wish. But also, just last week in a year 2 lecture, what I say to them is you pay, a lot of students like to say this, I pay £9,000 to come here. Okay, if you think you pay £9,000 to come here, then if you divide it into how many tutorial hours you have, how many lecture hours you have, then you probably will end up spending £30 to £40 per hour in the lecture. So if you are using your mobile phone, doing whatever you are doing, checking Facebook, you are actually using a very expensive time to browse your social media, and you could have done it anywhere else other than the lecture. So grab your learning opportunity, that's what I say. But there's one situation where I would suggest to maybe check your mobile phone a bit. Well, 2 actually. First is if the lecturer says, look, we're using Mentimeter, then of course you're using your mobile phone. And the second thing is if you really almost fall asleep, you really think you cannot concentrate, then I think if you are somebody with good self-control, you look at the phone for a minute or two. I think it's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair. Another example would be like yesterday. Most of you know that I'm a hopeless Arsenal fan. So I don't know if you heard about the game yesterday. Oh dear, I know. So I was too nervous and too anxious to watch the penalty shootout. So maybe when they were doing it, so I probably check my mobile phone, try to take my mind away from it. So digital thing is good. It's as long as you know how to use it. So if you are so stressed and so sleepy or so tired and you have something to take your mind away for a bit, I think it's really good. So I guess it all depends on how individual decides to do it. Yeah,
that's true. I do find myself very guilty of this as well. Sometimes some lectures are about 3 hours long and I need a break. So I look at my phone to see what's been going on.
Yeah.
But I will definitely take into account that I am paying per hour, like you said.
I
never thought about it.
Yes.
No, can't talk.
Yes, exactly. But sometimes we are marketing person. We're marketers. So I know how important it is to look at all the social media trend. Because this is we're doing some sort of social listening and field research about what's out there. So I definitely think we should be all on trend of social media, the news, or the social conversation. It's a really difficult thing to do is when to stop. So if you do it 1 minute, 2 minutes, then stop. So maybe another good idea is set a reminder for your phone. So after you use the app for maybe more than 10 minutes, then you should pop up and say, time's up. I know some phone can do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the phones can definitely do that. I'll definitely be doing that. Our fourth question or topic is about budgets. And so for first years, this is probably the first time they're living outside of their home or being independent. What are your thoughts? Have you seen anything on how students spend their budget?
Yes. I do have some students every year coming to me and say they do feel the financial stress and so on. From my point of view, again, I think it depends on individual. I know when we are student, I used to be student, believe it or not, many years ago, and then. Actually, when I first came to UK, I was also an international student, have very limited budget, live in a student hall. So I think the money is like time. So we need to do. If we need to do time management, we need to do money management, and you always need to know what is the more important things. For some people, if you go out fashion shopping or you go out for a movie, can really take your stress away and can really enhance your social life, then that you need to set a budget for. And if you set a budget for that, then you probably need to know that I'm going to eat less this week because I'm going away for a movie or I'm going away for a big party, so I'm eat less this week. So again, pre-planning is always a good thing. Or another thing is, if you are somebody like me, I like shopping and I like to eat. I get hungry all the time, so this is very difficult to save money. And some of you might think, okay, then you need to do a part-time job, which I also think is a great experience for year one student. But again, if the part-time job take away your opportunity, which you already paid £9,000 for, then that's not good. So if your part-time job have prevent you from coming to the lecture, then that is a really weird thing because you are paying £9,000 but you're not coming. This I also see a lot of time. Students say, "Oh, I have my manager asked me to work 1 more day, 2 more days," which is great. You get more money. Some of you argue you get more experience, but in the current time, what is the most important thing for you? If the learning is the most important thing for you, university time is the more important thing for you, then you probably need to rethink. But otherwise, have a piggy bank, I would say, right? Put some sort of emergency fund, that kind of thing, so you know that when things come, and this is just a learning curve. I mean, if you do it really bad this year, maybe next year you'll get better. So don't get stressed and don't to focus on this as a problem too much, because even when you get to my age, which is
confidential.
Long pause. Very good response, young man. Yes, even we have a full-time job, and even we have been away from student life for many years, we still have the same problem. So this is just a learning curve that everybody needs to have, especially now we are based here in London, and which is one of the most city in the world.
That's
it still
so
is.
True.
Yes.
I just moved here and everything is so expensive.
Where did you move from?
I'm from Bolivia originally.
Oh, wow.
So Latin America, very different from here. So would you agree that it all comes down to balancing, to have a balance, to set balance?
I think that is a very good interpretation. Yes, the balance, and also individual goal. Because I understand now all the students say, I wanna be the really great first student academically. Maybe not everyone's goal is like this. Maybe you just want to pass and have a degree and get on with your life. And if you have so clear in your mind, you already know what you're going to do in the future after your degree, then of course you just enjoy your life, pass the degree, and that's it, right? Again, most of you know that is my case. I don't like my BA degree. I didn't like my BA degree that much, so I just want to get over with. And then, so I don't really care about my transcript, but at the end, I cared about my CV. So I did a lot of voluntary job. I did work, industry-related work. That is also one thing. I remember my dad said to me, you say you want to do a part-time job, and then if you end up, let's say, giving out the flyer on the street, which I also respect, you can definitely train some characteristic from you by doing that. But if that is not really related to what kind of job you're doing in the future, then why don't you just learn more from school, instead of earning that little bit money for your socializing fund?
Yeah, so setting long-term goals.
Yes, and setting a goal, understand the balance, and don't stress if you don't know what the goal is. Because I have to admit, when I was studying German language and literature, I didn't know I'm going to do marketing. I didn't know. When I submit my master application, it's still all over the place. I submit something that study language. I submit something that study sociology. So it's still all over the place. I still don't know, because asking a young person that determine your life in the future is very difficult, and I appreciate that. So enjoy when you can, okay? Yes. Have the balance about enjoyment and get the degree done. I think that's
parties at night, study during the day.
Exactly. Work hard, play hard, isn't it? Yes. But party at night, remember to go to the 9 a.m. lecture, because that again costs you 30 to 40 pounds per hour.
True. But then most people, well, not most people, but a lot of first years just either don't show up or just sleep during the lecture. How do you feel about that? Like, kind of like the mobile phone thing, but it's not really their fault.
I know.
Apart from the party.
But at the end of the day, if you're such a genius that you don't have to learn everything, and then you get really the grade that you want, then I can't say anything, can I? But I as long as you don't regret. So I used to see a lot of students that they can pass the course by not coming. This I definitely believe that they have the skill to do or ability to do. They're quite smart. But if they are so smart, they don't have to come and they already get a 40, then maybe when they come 1 hour or 2 hours, 3 hours, they can get a 50. And if they get a little bit more time, maybe they will have a grade that they're really proud of. So getting something done or doing something that you actually are proud of is completely different thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So, do you happen to see any students sleeping or snoozing off in class? Does this happen often?
Yes.
What do you do when that happens?
I'm quite an annoying lecturer. If that happens, I tend to walk to. So like my student will know if you sit in the back, then that area is where I pay more attention. So I will. Yeah. If you sit in the front, I already know that you're learning, you're watching. So sit in the back. Sometimes I did see people like doze off or something, and it really hurts, because I really try to entertain my class. I really try to give them efficient learning, and. You know what? For a lecturer to talk about 1 hour lecture, we tend to prepare about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we need to study the material. We need to find out the best example for you. What is currently the trend out there or something. We need to study a lot.
Yes.
So it's kind of really heartbreaking to see people fall asleep in my lecture. So from now on, don't do that. If I see you sleeping, I'll wake you up. Yes, but I know. Again, there are always special circumstances, because if I see some student always have energy or physical problem, let's say physical tiredness problem, in the lecture, then I will actually talk to the student, and maybe there is something happening in their personal life or their well-being. So I want the student to know that we are actually more from a caring role rather than how dare you sleep in my lecture?
How dare you disrespect me?
I know. So we are not like that. Well, actually, I'm more worried is, why are you sleeping? Did something happen last night or something? And if there is nothing happen, and if that student just tell me, I honestly just feel sleepy, then that's fine. Again, is your opportunity to learn, and it's your decision to learn as well. So as long as you are physically and mentally well enough to come, then that is, you are all adult, and I will respect your decision of sleeping, paying £30.
I know, I'd pay £30 for a good sleep. Like after a Halloween party, could be worth it.
Oh, that's
Tonight.
yeah. So see, personal goal. So if that's what you want, then by all means, but just don't regret.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that saying, you can retake a lecture, but you can't relive a party.
I've never heard of this.
It's
Wow.
bad words to live by, let me tell you. But
Do you live by that?
no way.
Oh.
He has to say no because I'm here.
Yeah.
You can ask him again when I'm away.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense. But it's really on what you want to get at the end of the lecture. Because I had when I was studying master, I have exactly one module like this, and it's not like I don't want to study or I don't want to go. It's because as a non-native speaker and just study to get into all this English environment, I happen to have one lecturer. He's brilliant. He has brilliant CV, and then he is a world-leading scholar. So actually, it's quite a privilege to have him. And he's, I don't know, he teaches in some big university like Stanford, something like this.
Oh wow!
But he just happened to have such a heavy weight of speaking, with accent and very slow. So for me, it was very difficult to keep attention for after 20 minutes, because he talked in a way that is really quite slow, and difficult for, at that time my English was really not that good. So at that time it was really difficult for me. But in order to pass his class, I have to study like 8 or 9 hours in the library at the end. So it's again, win some, lose some. That's what people say, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you for time?
Oh yes. I will need to go in maybe 2 more minutes. So if you have any question that you would like to ask.
Yes. So my last question that I think is very beneficial is, What do you notice when people are studying? Do they have good habits or something that they're kind of stumbling upon? And what recommendations would you have for studying and getting good grades?
I think year one is mainly about knowing the resources available for you, because if you know that there are resources there to help you, you can actually improve all these studying skill by yourself. So for example, in library, actually there are writing workshop or the workshop to teach you how to find all the resources. Now this year, I think we have something new. We have we purchased a software that can actually check students' writing. So I know that the academic writing is always a big thing for year one student, because everybody will get a feedback say this is not formal writing, and student will be like, what do you mean by formal? I think it's very formal because I'm very serious, so how can you actually write and interpret your idea properly? We have a software that to help, and we have workshop available in the library academic lab for help. This year I just received an email that library is holding digital skill training workshop. So that is, if you don't know how to use the digital database, if you don't know what kind of digital skill is the most valuable by the employers, so they have the workshop like that. So I think in the year one, the most important thing is still about engaging with the university, engaging with the resources. So if I don't know how to write, where can I go for help? If I don't know how to write a CV, where do I go? If I don't know how to write an assignment, where do I go? And also, I know all of our staff are required to have office hours. So take the benefit as well, because you can always write a few sentences and show your tutor, say, is this kind of thing you're looking for? Or you find a paper, you don't know whether or not it's good, you can always go and say, is this what you're looking for? For somebody, English is not your first language. What I used to do is I will have a sentence structure, academic writing sentence structure. So for example, somebody teach me that when you're writing critically, you can always describe an idea, and then always use the phrase or the word that challenging that idea. So for example, if you write scholar A say this or blah blah blah, or the model, the definition of the model means this, and then you describe the model. At the end, you always say however, because when your reader read this however or a phrase like on the other hand, then they know that you're going to provide something new. So if you use such work like this, is about making arguments, sentences, and these are the very, very valuable in academic writing, because that's what we say where the critical thinking will come in. So as a non-English native speaker, what I will do is having a notepad and then write down all the keyword or key phrases that I think is particularly useful in academic writing. Now, another question will be, how do you know that? Well, I know that by reading proper academic journal article, reading the good example from students, and then if I see some sentence is really nice, then I will just write down the sentence. So next time when I need to write, I need to get a meaning across, I will look at my phrases book and see and remind me how I can write this type of meaning. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. But again, this year, for year one student, we do provide the writing help. So always ask the library academic hub, that will help.
Okay, so you guys heard it here first. Make use of all your resources that you guys have. Definitely take advantage of that, because they're here to help us, and to
Yes.
And if you don't know, speak to the person on tutor. They'll be happy to help you out.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh, you concluded very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time. We hope to have you again soon.
Thank you.